Welcome back, Video Creeps. What up, you guys?
What up?
Welcome to my channel,
Video Creep. Make sure you hit subscribe.
We're going to go over this one time and one time only.
Hey everybody, have you heard the news? Joe Bob is back in town. Joe Bob is back in town. Joe Bob is back in town.
Hello, internet fans. Do you want to learn about horror movies that you never knew existed? Do you miss the video store but not the late fees? Then join us at 3B Video, where we talk about stuff like this. And this. And this. If you'll excuse me, I've got some videotapes to return. You like Huey Lewis in the news?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Scene Snobs Podcast Live. I am your host, Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob, and I am back again for night 2 of the election special, 2-night event. Last night was all about, just trying to kind of break tension, kind of break stress, help people along. I know it's been kind of a crazy times, but, coming on, talking about different things and kind of trying to inspire people to get out and vote today. But today is the day. Today is election day, and I have some very fun, awesome guests that are with me today. I'm going to bring them on in just a few seconds, but we are going to be covering the important nature of this election. A lot of people are out there, and I feel like, you can watch the news, but there's no real entertainment to it. There's they set it up almost like it's a boxing match. With us, we want to take topics from you guys who are watching, throw it out in the comments. We want to talk about all that stuff and more. It can be anything, please. Feel free to share your opinion, share your fears, promote your businesses, whatever you need to do. That's what I want this to be tonight. We're going to be in it for the long haul until we find out who a winner is. And clear and concisely, we will be following the candidates that everybody cares about. That is, of course, Joe Jorgensen, Howie Hawkins, and, of course, the ever annoying and beautiful poet Kanye West. Those are our candidates. We know who's going to win. Obviously, it's going to be Kanye forever. But that's where we're at. So let me bring on my guests today. 3 podcasters who I have had the joys of being friends with and working with and things of that nature. And so I hope I don't mess everything up. I'm going to bring on Alex from Today in Space podcast. Come on up, Alex.
What's happening? How are you? Thank you for having me. This is the only explanation for 2020.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Of course.
Absolutely. And I want to bring on my next guest, Mr. Casey Plott, who I've worked on a podcast with for a long time, and he's a very talented guy and voice actor. So, Mr. Casey Plott.
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
And I want to bring on, because I'm not going to say his name as I know it, but I'm going to say it as it's written in front of me, and that's Rev Godfather Chris from the Long Black Coat Mafia. See, I told you I would not make it through this. Chris,
hello, everybody. It is I, the Reverend Godfather, main host and frontman for the Long Coat Mafia podcast. Hello.
Hello.
So I am so thrilled to have you guys on today. Of course, we're doing election coverage. We need to see if Joe Jorgensen's going to win. Howie Hawkins is very close behind, and of course, Kanye is. Oh, man. He's got percentages in Vermont. I mean, we know this. It's there. So it's cutting it too close. I mean, the numbers themselves, they speak for themselves. And I just don't know. I mean, 0.3%, Kanye, 577 votes. What's going to happen?
I didn't see. I'm in West Virginia. I didn't see Kanye on my ticket. And if he was, I probably would have voted for him instead of myself. But still, just to say I voted for Kanye.
That's true. And guys, did you guys go out and do your due diligence and vote for Kanye?
he wasn't on my ballot, but you're right. If it was on my ballot, I probably would have voted for Kanye.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was not on my ballot either. Yeah, swing and a miss, eh?
I know I was very fortunate to to go out and vote in September early, and he definitely wasn't on a ballot then. I don't think he was on any ballot back then. But of course, Joe Jorgensen and Howie Hawkins were, and I did not vote for them either. So I mean, they're there. But they have numbers. They have percentages: 0.9, 0.3, 0.5. It is what it is.
I'll say I don't mean to interrupt, but I will say this: we did here in West Virginia. We did have 2 third-party candidates that I probably would have voted for, but since for the longest while I had internet access at public Wi-Fi sections, but here at my home I didn't have Wi-Fi internet access, so I couldn't, in essence, research who they were. And I didn't want to vote for either of the main 2 candidates as an independent voter. So I was like, you know what? Again, I'm voting for myself, and I'll just say it like that.
Well, I will say this, based on Google's numbers, you, sir, as an other candidate, have 61,000 votes, and that's what we're
You are killing it.
Well done.
I love it. I mean, I have the Goonies staring me in the face. I have Jane from Serenity staring me in the face, and of course Q. And then I'm wearing a red and white shirt and there's got a little blue in there because I thought, hey, election day.
Yep.
I should have worn my Godzilla for President T-shirt. I know. Well, gentlemen, I know I said that this is an election special, but it's anything but. I just want to have fun. I want to relieve tension from anybody watching, which at the moment is nobody. They're probably watching what's going on in the world. They want to see if the world burns. But we'll get there. I do have listeners after the live shows. I do know that. But let's go and have some fun. We're all geeks here. We can all enjoy it. I'm opening up the discussion for everybody. I wanted to kind of keep this, fun and light. So how did you guys spend your day, your election day? Other than voting, how did you relieve the stress of everything going on?
It's a great question.
What's the rating of the show again?
Escape procedures, trying to avoid anything and everything. I don't know, not to make it a little heavy, but I've just been thinking about dystopian futures. I don't know about you guys, but that's kind of where my mind's been. But I did have 2 weeks of COVID, so I had a lot of time to think. So
and actually I want to say to our dear friend Alex, we're so happy that you and the missus are doing well.
We're back.
We were, of course, frightened for you, but
no, and thank you for reaching out. Honestly, it was real weird. If anyone wants to know the in-depth of what happened, I did do an episode on it. I just talked about it because there's still people out there that don't haven't had it yet, don't know anyone that's had it yet, which seems shocking now, but it's there, Today in Space podcast, if you want to go look that up. But doing much better. I kind of have all my sense of smell and taste back. It's been almost a month since I first had symptoms. So, but out of isolation, enough time to go vote. So that was good. But yeah, it's still not great. Like I have like 60 to 70% lung capacity. Like it's still not great. But
it sounds like a party,
go to the hospital. What was that?
Sounds like a party. I don't.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like the end of the party. Yeah.
See, it took COVID for you to have 60% of your lung capacity. It just took me being gigantic.
Well, that's up 100% after 6 years of smoking cigarettes, a pack a day, and going through college. So that 60% is much smaller now.
Good. Well, I mean, I'm glad it's smaller. Happily, I quit 2 years ago. Thankfully, anybody who smokes.
Good for you, man. Yeah, I'm 6 years out. It's crazy.
That is awesome. Casey, I'm looking at you, buddy.
Yeah, it must be nice.
You will do it. I've got faith in you. I know you will. You're going to get there. One day I see you balling up the pack and just like, I'm out.
That's the way it's going to end. Yep.
No, I had to hide mine in my car. I had to have 2 American Spirits because they're awful. And I had to have them in my car because I couldn't not have any. Because if I didn't have any, I'd always buy one.
Right.
Buy another pack. So that was my trick. But
That's smart. Might adopt it.
Problem is, Casey can't move down to American Spirits.
Yeah, already there.
oh yeah.
I graduated a couple years back, and now I've got to go to something even worse, like maybe back to Marlboros, where it tastes like chemicals. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all good though. I'm telling you, I know it. I know Casey's going to do it.
It's around the corner, man. Around the corner.
Oh yeah, man. It's around the corner, just like Joe Jorgensen turning in this election and winning it all.
Oh yeah, I mean, she's got to spin it here. Iowa's definitely her state.
Is she from Connecticut?
Yes.
No idea where she's from.
She's definitely from a place.
They're all from someplace. They're no Gary Johnson. But anyway, I digress. I am glad to see you doing well, Alex. Thank you for keeping us updated too. And your episode talking about COVID is very informative. It is heartbreaking at times. To hear like kind of what you're through, and everybody should definitely check it out. So go check out the Stay in Space podcast. Chris, you as well. I want to promote your show, man.
Yeah, I usually tell people I am. Depending if they are, if they're like you guys, I usually say I'm the internet's most hated and least listened to podcast out there. I own it because a lot of people on some of the Facebook groups out there don't like what I tend to preach in regards to being a low budget podcaster and an indie podcaster in a way. So there's that. We are, or I should say, the show is basically a quasi tongue-in-cheek Mafia themed podcast, geek podcast. And one of the things we're also hated for is that I paint a broad brush in regards to geek, which means if you're into whatever you're into is considered a geek. You're a geek for, whether it be cars, sewing, puppetry, origami. If you're a geek about that, and I could get about a half hour to an hour's content over it, I'll have you on my show. And as to prove that, I was doing a convention last year, and so happened a local puppeteer, wandered by the booth. I knew who he was. I said, "You want to be on the show?" And he said, "All right, I'll come and talk about what I do." And I went, "See, yeah, I had a puppeteer on my show." And it's like, who else could say that? I don't know. Since pretty much you're in charge with this, Mike, I don't know how far I could go with language and all that. So I'm trying to curb my language a little bit. Also, with my show, I don't just cover geek-related content or pop culture content. I cover geek-related issues, which means like voting, me coming down with diabetes, and drug abuse or stuff like that, or drug recovery, because these things pretty much concern geeks or happen to everybody. And why not cover these every now and again and have a little bit of a serious tone and fun tone with everything. But in regards to your main question, besides me stating as well, we're found on Facebook, secondary videos are on YouTube, and plus where atypical podcasts are found. Pretty much after I voted, I swung by one of the local Dollar Trees to pick up supplies to pretty much, you saw me folks, if you're watching, you saw me fiddling with it because I wanted to show you guys this. A buddy of mine, my best friend, lives out of state. He doesn't have COVID, it's not, but he's very sick. He's on dialysis, and I'm sending him a care package, which is pleasantly mummified with several layers. So, and it's going in a bigger box to be wrapped again. So, just to be one of those type of people, and he's going to call me many names when he gets it. I told him because he's familiar with this. Is what I just showed you guys is just a minor thing. It's some of the packages I've sent him that were similar to this were like almost 6 inches of wrap between the top of the box, meaning between the box and the top wrap was like 6 inches, and it had like masking tape, electrical tape, duct tape, shipping tape, bubble wrap, bags, cloth, a wire wrap, just to, I've threatened to encase these boxes in concrete, wood, steel, just to, tick him off.
Chris, all I hear is the love right there, man.
Yeah,
Just
because
love.
It's your package.
It's like normal people won't send care packages like that. Yeah, but I'm his best friend. I have to do this. It is the law.
It's your responsibility.
It's my responsibility to piss him off. And he's like, a mutual friend, let's call him James. James has never seen one of your mummified packages. I said, you know what? I'm adding a few extra layers to this, and you tell James to come visit you in the hospital, and you have him open up this sucker with a pair of safety scissors. Let's see how frustrating it's going to be for him, and you're going to get some laughs out of it. It's my job. It's my job to try to cheer you up, and because he's had a rough couple of months, a little bit worse than me. He's yelled at me because his situation was a little bit worse because he almost died twice due to his health. Wasn't no offense to those who might have had COVID, but it wasn't COVID related. It's just that the way he was, his condition worsened, and he had like lung problems, heart problems. Now it's kidney problems, and he yelled at me for trying to mimic him because mine was almost as bad. And with my condition coming down with diabetes, I also almost died if it wasn't for another very good friend of mine. So me getting back into the podcasting game and, you guys having me on your show is me, again, trying to get back in that groove and enjoy this hobby, this community all over again.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, man, and telling us that, and we support you, and please feel free to always send me stuff, and we can always plug it on the Scene Snobs for the Long Coat Mafia podcast. I do want to get into one thing Alex was saying earlier. He was talking about dystopian. I know we're going right into we're all sick.
There we go.
We're all there. It's not like we're going anywhere. We've
got 5 hours away, folks. 5 hours. I'm calling it.
I do want to ask you guys each, and I'm going to go around. I want to know if you had the choice of which movie dystopian world to live in, what are you going with? I'm going to start with you, Alex, because you brought it up.
Which dystopian world would I live in? It's a good one. My first answer, which I thought you were going to ask me, which was which one are we living in, and it's the one where Biff got the almanac in the second movie. But other than that, I don't know. The Matrix would be pretty cool. To be in the Matrix, not out of the Matrix, but in the Matrix would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, if you're part of the Matrix, that would be rad. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like this steak. I know it's not real, but
but also you have to know that you're in it for it to be the best it can be.
Yeah. Yeah. And it feels like that sometimes, honestly. When I'm looking at my phone and I realize I've been, scrolling for 20 minutes. Where did I just go? But that's my answer to keep it short.
Well, I want Chris. How about you? What's your dystopian world that you would choose if you could?
Romero's Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead. All right, you're already past.
I want my zombies. Dang Nevitt, I want my zombies. It's like I keep seeing the memes on Facebook that one, leading to the other. It's like, I want my zombies. I want my zombies. Give me the slow zombies, maybe Walking Dead type, zombies, not the fast moving, just,
not 28 days later.
Right. Just the casual zombies that it's like, oh yeah, fine. Just walk away,
Nudge a shambler.
Yeah, just not so much nudge. I have I don't mean to brag, but I do have a scythe, so it's a nice long distance weapon. So it's one of those, like, you could just easily, if you get one of the intelligent ones, maybe they'll be a little bit scared. So, but that's just me being a little bit fun.
I've come to the conclusion after long and hard thinking about it, and watching many zombie movies and TV shows, I would not survive. It just wouldn't happen. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to survive. Fast zombies, slow zombies, whatever you got for me, I'm not surviving it.
Does that mean you become a zombie?
Probably.
Okay.
They're going to catch up. There's just, I don't care what I have and what, every time I talk to someone, they're like, oh, I would have this, and I'd have this, and I'd have this. And I'm like, that's great. But you don't have it. You can't guarantee that you're going to get it. It's great to think about. It's great to, and I try not to squash anybody's dreams, but I'm like, I could go and get whatever I need, but I guarantee you, I'm probably going to die on the way to get what I need. So I'm gonna hunker down and try and outlive it as long as I can.
Well, we got kind of a taste of that, right? With the beginning of COVID, like when toilet paper ran out. And I heard Georgia still doesn't have toilet paper, but that could be fake news. But it's crazy. Like we saw like a taste of it. We saw a taste of like a lot of weird things. But not to go off on a rant, but one of the things that I was thinking of when I was sick with COVID, again, because you just had to exist all day long, was like, what does this open up? And not to open up this Pandora's box on the internet, but like, what does this open up for future biological stuff? Like like I went to school with all engineers, and well, I probably shouldn't have been there because by the end of my freshman year, I wanted to leave. But there was a lot of people that were super smart that are probably working on the next thing. And, they would we would get drunk and talk about this stuff at night, like what's possible. And to see something like this happen, not saying that it's a biological chemical attack, but the fact that it spread so crazy, like now it's in play. It's a card you can pull out of the deck. Like it's very weird.
Yeah, they made that movie Contagion not too long ago, and a lot of people were just like going right back to that, saying, "Hey, this is basically what we're living through right now." A little bit harder of a movie, swept a little bit fast, but people are definitely comparing it.
We're lucky that the lethality of the actual illness is not, rampant or out of control by comparison to what it could be, say E. coli or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If Contagion is the movie that you mentioned is the one I'm thinking of, I enjoyed that one compared to I forgot what it was. It was real stupid. I did not enjoy it. They made a sequel and they made a remake a few years ago based on it.
The Andromeda Strain?
The what? Was
it the Andromeda Strain?
No, it wasn't the Andromeda Strain. It was one of the movies starred the actor that was Samwise played Samwise.
The Strain?
No, it wasn't The Strain. Pulling up IMDb because it's the only way I'm going to figure this out.
While you're doing that, I want to get Casey. What's your dystopian future?
Well, this is purely for the vanity's sake because I want to be able to wear tires as an outfit. So it's got to be Mad Max. I mean, I've got a collection of all this junk. I need to finally be able to tie it together, and I think I've got the perfect outfit idea. So I want to be able to run around in that, just wielding some sort of giant weapon that's on fire and screaming at people.
You're ready.
I'm in. Yeah, let's do this. Let's go. I'm telling you, 5 hours.
So then with that, I want to ask you guys now, what place do you hold in all of your dystopian futures? Who are you in this? You got to compare yourself to somebody in those movies. Who do you be?
The guy who's screaming, running around in front of the road who just gets run over by the truck. So that's about where I made it. That's once I'm there, it's all over, man. All downhill from there.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, I think I'm the guy that's making all the crazy stuff that's either killing the zombies or I'm the guy behind the computer in the Matrix. That's who I am.
I'm Tank.
Me, I'm pretty much the guy if you all played Borderlands in any way, I'll be the equivalent of Crazy Earl. What you want?
Nice.
Go away.
Nice. Well, you got the
Just
size
close-
already. I mean, you're perfect.
Go away.
I would be playing the role of dead guy. I'm telling you, I know. I'm not hunted down.
Even in your fantasy version of this dystopian nightmare, you're the dead guy.
At least I got hit by a truck, Mike. Come on.
Because I'm a father and a husband. I mean, I'm gonna try to stay on real hard. But I mean, I know what I'm about. I know that in my 20s, I'd probably ruling the land. In my early 30s, I'd probably be like a mid-level guy ready to go. But I'm way too relaxed now, man. I like my chair. I like watching my TV. And if that's gone, I mean, what do you got, really?
Which means you're going to be the guy who has a cult revolving around the chair and the TV. It's going to be awesome. People carry you throughout the land.
Oh my God. Am I the cult leader for Mandy?
Yes, you are. Exactly.
Oh, by the way, just to let you know, the movie that Sean Astin was in was Cabin Fever, Patient Zero. That series I did not enjoy. Contagion was a better movie. It to me, it started out like Cabin Fever, like it had no beginning, no story behind it, but it kind of filled everything in. Where Cabin Fever is like, oh, we're just going to do this. Oh, yeah, by the way, sequel, zombies. Like, you know what? Yeah, no, go away. And they tried to remake it, and it was just, if you're going to remake it, try to make it better. But they didn't, and it was just like, oh, we're going to do it shot for shot. Go away.
That's fair. Yeah, because they did kind of come out after Contagion. And I like the first Cabin Fever because it was the beginning. But yeah, like as they went on, it just, it was all right at best. But I want to check on the numbers. So let's see real quick. Gotta find them.
Not to be that guy.
Okay,
Where are these
let's see
numbers
what we
coming from?
got here. Is it up? There we go. All right.
Boop, 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 boop.
And
Trying to
hands.
pull it up. There we go. Okay, so we have Joe Jorgensen. That's 1%.
Woo!
Thank you. Oh my God, we've been pulling for you, and you got 1%. Thank you, Howie Hawkins. God, you less than 1%. And Kanye, keep your chin up, man. Keep your chin up. So that's where we're at with the election right now. We don't care about anybody else. We all know the losers as they go. Now let's ask you this, and I'm going to answer this one first. What is the least, which dystopian future do you want to be in the least? And I'm saying The Road.
Oh.
Hands down, The Road. Do not want to be a part of it. I mean, it all kind of goes into that, but like, yeah, that movie and that book, man, the hell with it. It was just a nightmare. So what about you guys? I want to know what dystopian future would you least likely want to be in? 4 more years with Trump, but that's what I'm hearing.
Maze Runner.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Everybody's
Yeah, I was
does
gonna say-
too much work. Everybody's running everywhere. It's frustrating and annoying, and there's just no end in sight. And they're all kids. So there's nothing good to do. What do you do? Run around with some kids? Nah, I'm out.
To do the troll answer, Twilight.
Actually, I most likely want to live in Twilight because it's just basically avoid vampires and werewolves. Don't move to Seattle, Washington.
So move to Seattle, Washington.
No, I think everybody would want to be in Twilight as a vampire hunter because they'll be so easy to kill. They just sparkle.
Now, I'm moving to Santa Carla.
Oh, it'd be a great place if it were up for all the goddamn vampires.
Rules.
Got rules around here.
Santa Carla is that whole aspect of the Lost Boys universe, if you will, is such a. They're so. I don't want to say. How do I put this? Punk. They just look at the Twilight vampires and just shoot them out of spite.
It should be delightful. Oh, Joel Schumacher, when you did good things.
Yeah. Oh, poor Joel. You leave Joel Schumacher alone.
Why? He's fine. Just he leave my Batman alone. How about that?
Rest in peace, Joel Schumacher. Don't let them pick on you. The bat nipples were a good idea.
You take it back. You take it back right now.
Oh, you need the nipples on the bat suit always. 100%. So, Alex, how about you? What's one you don't want to live in?
It's like a cross between iRobot and Blade Runner.
Well, you know what? That's great. That's a great choice. But Blade Runner, because it's just a crappy place to live.
Yeah.
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 But in reality, I'm not going to take my answer back. But I think surrogates would be a worse one.
Yeah.
That'd be a tough one.
Surrogates.
Be weird.
If not that, Ready Player One. Too many. It's just.
Yeah.
I'm not talking the aspect of the whole virtual world. I think that's kind of cool, but just how dystopian the actual world
The poverty.
is.
Yeah, just the abject. Everybody's poor, living in shipment containers. Nah, that's horrifying.
Yeah. It's similar to like Elysium too. That's like the same world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where it's just poverty, like 99.99%.
See, and a lot of these places would be cool. Like Johnny Mnemonic would be rad if I was in the 1%.
Yeah, right.
Be awesome. I got couriers for my info in their brain. It's radical.
I gotta say, when it ultimately comes down to it, though, every dystopian future, at least everybody's sort of at the beginning on an even playing field. We're all kind of poor. It's just a matter of how ruthless you have to be to take over the area you're in and go from there.
Like the Postman.
Yeah,
I'm surprised nobody said Waterworld.
Oh,
I'd be okay with it. That's a middle ground, man. Because there's still some pretty ladies out there. You don't have to run everywhere.
You don't have to run, but you got to swim everywhere.
There you go. There's jet skis.
Yeah, that's fair. Listen. I want the path of least resistance when it comes to my dystopian universe.
Snowpiercer.
Just in one of the middle carts, I'm fine. Whatever. I'm good with it. As long as you don't push me back, I'm good with that. Whatever. But anyway, I will say this. I'm going to say it with hope. We are not in a dystopian future right now. We are on our way to Star Trek. We just need to, I saw that DS9 episode where they go back to San Francisco.
that one's weird.
Yeah.
Watching it now, it's weird.
I know, right? I rewatched after our Star Trek panel, and I'm still rewatching. I'm in season 6 now.
Nice.
I just finished the episode where Cisco is the writer.
Oh, yeah. The Faults in Our Stars. Great.
Which is
great episode.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was, which is oddly, distinctive of the times now, too, in a weird way.
So you're a Star Trek fan, and you're watching the Babylon 5 ripoff. Congratulations.
Oh, shots fired.
The man's wearing a Q shirt.
I wasn't ready.
First off, after Star Trek, the original series, and the next gen, anything that came after that is a ripoff of Star Trek. Can anybody at least agree to that? Now, we can all say that Star Trek is a ripoff of Forbidden Planet.
Everything's a ripoff of something everywhere.
It's true.
So
I'm sure there was an Asimov story before that, and I'm sure that before that there was a Shelley story.
Oh, yeah.
There was quite literally no science fiction before Forbidden Planet. In book or movie or radio or TV. It's a true story. Look it up. Look up when.
That was a convincing argument.
Look up the year science started. That was 1918.
Age of Enlightenment. What was that?
There's no such thing as scientists before 1918.
Didn't happen.
I can make this stuff up just as easily as anybody else on TV.
Welcome to a Scene Snobs.
You missed the pre-2000 world when you could just say something like that and nobody just like, yeah, okay.
It was awesome.
The pre-2000 world when people could do that. And
Well,
you
if
could
we're
go
going
in-
that far, the Earth is flat, or if you want to go the other way, it's hollow.
Ooh.
Well, that is true. That is true.
And the
I
moon's
have
a giant egg, guys. Any day. Any day
I've
now.
tried to drill before, and I fell in. I spent a nice few days in China. It was amazing. And then I flew back.
Strong.
Covered up. I put plywood over the hole, just like in the gate.
Well, there is still that open one, that mystery hole in West Virginia.
We got to go to the mystery hole.
Gotta go to the mystery hole.
Let me tell you.
Now, you guys want to go obscure? I still want to try to find Mel's hole.
That's
I
all right.
found Mel's hole, and I'll tell you what. It's dirty. It smells funny. And I didn't like it.
Oh, wait a minute. You guys don't know about Mel's hole?
If it's Mel Brooks, I think we
No. You see, I'm an old school coast to coast listener, and this was one of the funniest. You have to leave whatever area you're in just to walk away for about 5 minutes. It was that unbelievable. But apparently, somewhere in Oregon or Washington State, it was one of those two states. There's this hole that apparently has no bottom. And this guy named Mel had put like several miles worth of fishing line in this hole. And it's like, and he found another one in Nevada in which had similar strange properties to it. And when he tested that particular hole, he put a bucket of ice in it. And when he pulled the ice out, it was able to actually burn for some strange, ungodly reason. Just search for like on YouTube Mel's Hole, and you'll probably get the full broadcast of this weird and strange and yet humorous story that is completely unbelievable and just a fun listen to.
Well, now I'm fully aware that I have the wrong job. I should be a hole hunter because that sounds awesome.
You're a single man. 26. I almost said 2016. Holy shit. 2020. I think it's just wishful thinking at this point for me that we can go back 4 years and still be at this point where it's just like we're okay for now.
Can you remember 4 years ago? I don't know.
Everything's fine. It's all fine.
You're a single man in 2020. You are a hole hunter, sir. I mean, I'm sorry. That was a little rude. I shouldn't have
I
done
was
that.
thinking the same thing. So go with it.
But I will
Just
say
strong.
that, Chris, yes, we know what Mel's Hole is. I just told you. I was drilling, and I fell through, and then I had to break it open in China to get out. That's what Mel's Hole is. That happened a few years ago. It's a true story. It happened before 2000. In 1999.
For the main host, may I have one ready to go.
Okay.
You leave my mama out of this.
Aha, zing.
Oh my God, where is this going? All right.
I think it already went.
I'm going to give an update. West Virginia is pulled for Donald Trump. So, Chris, you lost. Your write-in ballot did not win. So I'm sorry, sir. Please go ahead with your concession speech. But I will say, guys, we are talking about, I like, maybe Mel's Hole, which I'll check out later, or the Mystery Hole, or whatever else is going on. But I want to talk about some oddities. Maybe some roadside oddities that you guys have visited through the years. What do we have? What's some fun stuff that maybe you've seen, or like it doesn't even have to be something you just ran into. Maybe something you always wanted to go to.
Largest roadside thermometer
Where
in
the
Death
hell is
Valley.
that?
That was one. That
You
was
went
interesting.
there?
Yeah, on my way between LA to Vegas on a buddy's bachelor party many moons ago when I was young and could travel, back before the days of whatever this is.
Yeah, true story. Baker, California. And it is 134 feet. That's too much. That's a big thermometer. And it's in the hottest place. So how about you, Alex? Where are you going?
Well, I mean, I'll give the nerdy answer. I found out about this. It's this long trail that has like a scale model of the planets in our solar system, and they're like located along the East Coast. So you can actually drive the whole thing, go planet to planet. And they're supposed to be distanced, like the proper distance away. So that would just be a good thing to kind of go up the coast, see, the Northeast, and just stop a bunch of places.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Holy cow. I want to see that too. Now I want to see that, and that's my choice. You got to, one thing you got to do, you and my wife, you guys got to visit NASA for a launch.
That was super awesome. Yeah, that was back in December, right before in 2019, right before everything happened, which is crazy to think back on. But yeah, we went down to Florida. We got to see. We had such a crazy tour. We got to go into the vehicle assembly building and go inside, and we had a guy there that had worked there for years, so he gave us the best tour you could ever get. Drove around. We saw 2 launch vehicles. We saw the United Launch Alliance's, I think it was an Atlas V. We saw the Falcon 9 launch that day, or it was scrubbed the first day, and we got to stay another day and watch it. But it was amazing. That was my first rocket launch. And they're launching like crazy down in Florida right now. So I know some people who've actually just moved there because that's where all the action is right now.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that was. I remember because I was, when you guys went, she would tell me, she's like, "Hey, I'm doing this." So I had Pluto TV, and they have the NASA channel, and they do all of the. I saw you guys. On the
we're on NASA TV. I was like, oh.
Yeah, asking the questions and stuff. So that was pretty cool, and that's how Alex and I got to meet. And he's got an amazing. Anybody who's listening or watching, an amazing podcast, Today in Space. Definitely go check that out. It makes me smarter. I know that. No, that's for sure. But that I did treat NASA as sort of a roadside oddity, and it's really not. But that is a very cool place to go visit. I would love to go check out. That's definitely one on my list. Another one on my list.
I definitely want to go to the SETI in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Check out the big dish talking to the aliens. That'd be rad.
Everybody's going out your way, man. Chris, everybody's going out your way.
To me, it's not that real big of a deal. I don't go that far west into West Virginia. But if I did, it'd be, I don't want to say it's Point Pleasant, but it's the Mothman area. If not, because of the distance, me and my co-hosts were at some point thinking of going there just to walk around and do, kind of do a show there during the Mothman Festival. But personally, if I had the chance just for the day, I'd just drive south, go south to, in essence, the area my co-host and my buddy lives in. There's a little bit of a roadside attraction. It's really, really cheesy, but it's, one of those fun days out. You could just enjoy a nice day, look at it. It's called Dinosaur Land. They just have these like fiberglass dinosaurs in this big wooded area. It's one of those fun, cheesy little thing. And then during like the spring and summer, when you don't have a pandemic going on, there's like less than a mile away, there's a big flea market that you could go to and just hang out and buy stuff on the cheap and collectibles on the cheap.
Nice.
So it's one of those things. But if they also had it again in the the Virginia area, Duke Fest, which is in essence a Dukes of Hazzard convention / bluegrass festival, and I went many years ago. Just I got to see it once, and it was very. It was a fun time, a fun experience. I loved it. I enjoyed it, but I wanted to go up because the area was very beautiful in regards to the wilderness. It was, one of those things like, for a Saturday or Sunday drive, going down, granted the admission was free, walk around, hang out, have kettle corn and listen to music for a little while. Can't go wrong. It was just one of those things.
Well, I got to say, I've always wanted to go one of those Dukes of Hazzard ones. They do Cooters here, who is the guy who played Cooter on the show. He owns a restaurant out here in Virginia, for anybody listening that isn't around here. But and they do big shows where they'll jump the cars and stuff like that. So
yeah, that You're Mick. You're from Virginia.
I'm from Jersey originally.
Oh,
but
Jersey.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm here now.
So yeah, I think we're talking about the same event. He doesn't do the Dukes Fest in Virginia anymore. I don't think. I think
I think he wrapped up. I think he closed Cooters as well. I think it's all shut down now.
Right.
No, well, I mean, it might be shut down for COVID, but it didn't.
Oh,
it was open until COVID.
Okay.
Because I still I follow him and just for all that jazz. And he just had Tom Wopat there not too long ago, so I want to say maybe he reopened.
Awesome.
So yeah, they're a little crazy right now, like with everything they've been coming out and saying lately. The Dukes Hazzard. I'm just like, come on, guys, just get in the car and drive. Just go beat up Boss Hog. That's what I want. But no, it's definitely a lot of fun stuff like that. And Virginia has a lot of stuff like that. A lot of fun,
it does. Virginia has a lot of little roadside attractions and stuff that's a fun little drive to, and easy to get to if you know where they are. A lot of caves and that type of attraction in there. I've been to pretty much all of them.
The land bridge,
right?
It's pretty rad. And then, of course, if you're a history nerd, that's my big thing. It's Monticello. You can go to Mount Vernon. You can go to Yorktown, see all the battles, see all the different battlefields. It's pretty rife with history.
Which actually reminds me, I want to promote this because I just got it today. One of our listeners, he's a very awesome guy, and he's a writer, sent me his book, and it is History Be Crazy. If anybody's paying attention, that's by Ed Brock. He's on the show often, and it's got some very cool little history quips and things like that, like stuff I didn't know before. That's really cool. That's kind of, I don't want to say out there because it's not weird or anything, but it's just like little stuff you never knew, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, how it's actually built, because after they built the first two levels, they saw that the ground was, of course, given away. So they built it on a curve. So if you actually pushed it and it was straight, so Superman 2, I believe it was, lied to us, it would actually be curved. Then that was, that was just something interesting I saw. I got it in the mail today, so I learned something new, and I wanted to share that on the show.
No, thank you. We've all become smarter.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, come on. Alex was, he's an engineer, and he has.
I mean, smart is like, especially as an engineer, it's like tempering metal as a blacksmith. I got it, but that was just because I kept whacking myself with engineering principles and dunk it into the water, quenching it, put it into the fire again, and hammer it again. It's just hammered in there. It's not really that I'm that smart. I've just put in the hours for it. But
got one of them brains where things just stick to it.
Yeah.
Well, if that was the case, I would know how to podcast, because I certainly put in the hours.
It's true.
But I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, you're doing fantastic.
You're doing great, dude.
No,
it's honestly, it's been real cool to see the progress, dude.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
You're hustling.
Yeah, man, and I'm very fortunate. We have a lot more shows coming on the channel very soon. People who have established shows are coming on, and they're just going to be broadcast, have more live broadcasts, things like that. So it's been very fortunate, and it's been an interesting ride, of course, and a lot of great people along the way. So yourself included, all of you. Well, I knew you beforehand, Casey.
I don't count.
You count. I just mean I knew you before. I
get it. I'm just busting on you, buddy.
But
love
it was
you.
Podcast. So there you go. Back when we had a really popular podcast.
Yeah, way back when.
Oh man, those were the days. I would kill for those numbers. I was like, it only took us 5 years to get there.
Right.
But it was a fun ride. So guys, I want to, I don't want to talk about impending doom, because I do not believe that. I want to talk about hopeful things. The one thing I do want to say to anybody listening or watching down the line, whatever happens, We're going to be okay. Things may get wacky. Tensions may rise. They may not rise. We don't know. We'll see. But we are going to be okay. COVID is going to pass with wonderful vaccines that come through and everything else. I truly believe that. We are going to get better. This is not an outro, by the way. I'm just saying hopeful things. I do want to go on to that. What do you guys going forward? How are you changing in your lives? What are some inspirational things you've taken away from this year that going forward you want to kind of maybe before this you were kind of procrastinating on something. But now it's like, no, you know what? When we get back out, this is what I want to do, and I want to make sure I get it done, or stuff like that. What do you guys have for me?
Well, I'll definitely start because I definitely started the doom and gloom thing here, so I'll start. What I think it all boils down to, because I did write this down to make sure that I talked about the good stuff and not just the bad stuff, but it's like building a community, which is something you're doing here with Scene Snobs, which is awesome. But even just like getting more in touch with people in my life, like friends that I've either lost touch with, or just as a millennial, like we're just so busy in our lives and we don't take the time to like do the things that make people smile, like just text somebody, call them, and make a point to do that, and get involved in their lives a little bit more. Just because I was just so guilty of that. I was just so busy and spent so much time in my own head. I mean, that's just the engineer thing. And then as like a side thing, just acting on stuff. I can spend so much time spinning my wheels over, the different ways that it could play out, instead of like, as a really stupid example, but like this was the Halloween costume I did. It was my Locutus arm. Awesome. And it was pretty sweet, right? So I 3D printed the thing. And it looks awesome. But I, of course, went overboard and I was like, I'm going to make this motor turn. I'm going to do all this wiring and program this chip. And like, that's great. But like, I was beating myself up on like, I don't know the code, so I've got to learn that. And how could that work? And instead, what I've been doing a lot more this year is like, just do it. If it doesn't work, you're not going to do it. So try it. Doesn't work. You learn what you learn. You got to the point where you figured out the thing that is your next step, and you go from there. That's also the reason why I was a really good addict. But hey, I know that now.
That's awesome, though. No, and I like that. It's a good way to turn it around and go with it. Look and a positive vibe, if you will.
Community. That's a big thing. Like honestly, a lot of the stuff and that started to take a little more time, but the thing, a lot of the problems that we're having now could be solved by us just talking to each other more and knowing each other. Like one of the big things that I see with the police issue is I've seen it up here. They don't work in communities anymore. They don't know Bob down the street. That's a little crazy. So, we're going to check out, make sure he's okay. But, there's a chance he's probably lying to us. But that's okay. Like, Bob's still a nice guy. Like, he's got a good family, whatever. If you don't have that, you're not looking at people as people. There's something else. And the same thing, if there's people in the community struggling and you don't talk to your neighbor and you don't know how, everyone just kind of sinks into madness and nobody has any idea that anyone else is dealing with stuff. So that's my thought. So I'm working on that. So we've got a long way to go, but
nothing wrong with that. It's a long road. What is that song? I can't get it. Nobody likes it.
It's been a long road.
It's a long road. Yeah.
Getting from there to here.
Getting from there to here. From the Babylon 5-2 ripoff. So.
Oh, of course. Babylon, that was Babylon. What? Babylon Earth? Babylon 5 Earth?
Battlestar Galactica ripoff.
I want to say Enterprise. Star Trek Enterprise was the Voyager ripoff. They ripped off themselves.
Oh God. All right. Well, that hurts. So I'm
That's
gonna
right. I don't play fair.
Fatality.
I'm going to you sit next, Casey. So Casey, how about you? What are some things you're taking away from this year?
So it's been a really weird year because since a lot of the people haven't been able to come into work, I've been the guy who's been the one bridging a lot of that gap. So by throwing myself into a position where I've overworked, I started to really see that, maybe the last couple of years I have not committed to that work-life balance and what exactly that means and what is required in that. And so very much to speak Alex's point with community and getting back into, things that I like to do. What do I enjoy? What's living? What is life for me and what makes it worthwhile? So, being able to hang out, work with you and meet up again and then throw disc golf. That's where I'm at. All of those. I love it, man. It's great.
That's great points. I love that. And I want you to do it and quit smoking.
Working on that one too.
And Chris, how about you, man? What's some things you're taking away from this year?
Hopefully get more fit and try to not, or I should say, get in a shape that's other than a circle or egg shaped. And
Get it.
Because again, I get a lot of, I'm hearing it from both sides, from one of my doctor and from my, in essence, the diabetic educator. My doctor is like, yeah, getting fit, exercise more, helps you control your sugar because you are diabetic now. And my educator is like, you don't want to do that. It kind of keeps your sugar on the low side. I don't want my sugar to be at 650 anymore. My friend is at, his average is 250 on a daily basis and his kidneys are failing. No, I don't want that. I'd rather be closer to the lower side, the normal side. If that means exercising more, walking more, being more fit than other than, being overweight, I want to do that. I want to, be healthier, and be able to do my podcast as long as I can and hopefully not get burnt out. So that's the main thing. I want to be able to go to shows again. I want to be able to, do covered cons again, and seeing my convention family on both sides of the table, the vendor side and the ticket holder side. And I can't do that unless I get things under control and be more fit, eat healthier instead of what I was, doing prior. I have to deal with that now, and I don't want, when I see my friends saying, "Hey, I'm having this happen to me," I don't want that now. And they're telling me, "Well, you're new at this type of community." Yeah, but you don't understand. I have that mindset. It's that drilled into me prior. It's like, I'm looking at this not from your side that I could live a normal life. And yeah, to me, that's a slippery slope. I would rather try to be as fit and as healthy as I can, because I have other friends that have told me, because they're my friends, they're to put it politely, again, I don't know the language policy on your show. They have told me that if I screw up again, they will pretty much wake me up from my diabetic coma just to kick my butt again, and put me back in, because they don't want me to go out that way. They would rather me go out in a relatively cool way. So, or to put it in a pop culture term, they would rather me go out like Obi-Wan than Boba Fett. So,
you're not watching The Mandalorian season 2.
I am watching season 2. If that's the only way he escaped. Let me put it like this, folks. He escaped because the Sarlacc pit got eaten. Come on. You missed the first episode. But the original canon, if the original extended universe canon, he pretty much clawed his way out. That makes him more of, I do apologize for the language, that makes him more of a badass than, he managed to get out because a predator came along, a bigger predator, to kind of use this, the prequel quote, a bigger fish.
Got to work Qui-Gon in there.
Yeah. But, I'd rather, as kind of the podcast that was kind of the basis for mine, and it's like, Boba Fett went out like a bitch. So, in Jedi. So, I'd rather not go out like a bitch, and I'd rather go out like a badass. So,
All right.
As you should. We should all be so helpful.
Right.
To do that.
That's very true. You know what? With that sentiment, I want to make sure that we get back on track, and we are checking out how Kanye is doing in Vermont.
Live updates.
We all know it's there, and that is, of course, oh my God, there it is. There it is, everybody. 0.4% with 915 votes. Kanye, you are going to take it, buddy. You're going to take it. We believe in you. We are a supporter of yours. Not really, but you can believe that if you want to. And please sponsor the show. That is the Teen Snobs.
You know that Kanye West has got a real future here. Really going to see a whole lot. Expecting big things.
If you want to give your concession speech on here, please feel free to do so, Kanye. You have the exclusive. He's watching right now just because I have one viewer. And it's Kanye, like, yeah, they know it's up.
If that man calls in right now, I'd freak out.
100%. You are allowed on the show, sir.
Easy?
This is the Scene Snuff Podcast Election Night Special following Kanye West. That's the way it works. But
with his 2 buses going somewhere doing something campaigny?
Are you sure that they're going anywhere at the moment?
I mean, they have to be.
He's in Nebraska somewhere in a cabin.
Yeah, but he's paying a couple buses and probably an airplane with a banner to fly around at nighttime.
Right.
He's
doing go with mixed sentiment. Kanye, if you are watching, send PayPal payments to scenesnobs at gmail.com. Help Mick out.
I don't think that's tax deductible. Kanye's campaign.
Well, come on the podcast, come on the show and talk about your campaign. Therefore, it could be tax deductible, or your music. That way, it can be.
We have all of the polls are closed now. Sorry, Kanye. Count me out. That's just I do love that you guys jumped on the show tonight. I do appreciate it. It was a fun time. I just wanted to come on and kind of be light and just enjoy things a little bit, and kind of open up
and start the show off with like Alex and his near-death experience.
Yes, yeah.
I can't help myself.
More. Well, let me ask you this, and I'm not making light of you having COVID at all. But gaining your sense of taste back. What's the first thing you wanted to eat? What's the first thing you wanted to taste coming back to it?
Well, the strange thing is you have no choice of what comes back, and you're getting the smell and the taste at different times. So like you may be able to smell it, but you can't taste it. So it's the strangest thing.
That's like a new hell that I don't want to experience.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Seriously,
and it took me longer to get that back, and it's still not 100%. But the one, I don't know. It's tough to answer that because I'm still not even there yet. So I kind of like just. I sorry for sounding so depressing, but it's not. It's just it is what it is. But
hey, so what do you, Alex? What do you dream about tasting again one day?
There's no dreams. It's darkness and no. But hot sauce, honestly, is what saved me. Like I had a habanero sauce just because it was a different sense. Like I could just feel the food. That was good. I mean, for whatever habanero sauce. Whatever you got. I had dinosaur barbecue. It was real good. But yeah.
I mean, I can't even imagine. Just all of it. It just seems like, it just seems crazy to me.
Well, and the thing, I mentioned this on the podcast. But I think that the thing that's so lost in the discussion, and I'm very aware of it, is that yeah, everyone talks about the deaths that have happened and they're terrible. And is it as deadly, like you had mentioned before, like, is it as deadly as other stuff that could be there? Like, no, thank goodness. But it's the stuff that's not in that stat, which is I was out of work and life basically for 2 weeks. Like I couldn't do anything. And I didn't have to go to the hospital, thank goodness. But like, I'm lucky I have a job that let me do that.
Yeah.
You know,
A
like
lot of people don't.
no, there's a lot of people that do not have that option.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the untold story of this whole thing. Like,
Well,
I'm
it's
30
the-
years old and it took me out for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
I don't know.
It's very much so that world around us, like what's going to happen. What society have we created to prepare for any situation like this? This one being almost small scale, almost small level, because it doesn't inflict the damages we see as being death in that scenario, but it does create such problems that we're going to be experiencing for the amount of money that we've spent as a government, the amount of things that we're going to have to get back into a rhythm of. What kind of new nation and world do we have? We've seen now where internet has spread and traveled to these rural areas, allowing people to start to move from the cities again. We're starting to see growth and spreading of ideals and things moving back out into different areas. And over the course of the next 10 years, this moment, what we've gone through this year, 2020 is going to create an entirely new situation because it's an entirely new set of rules because all of the millennials growing up, the Gen Zers, everyone below them, you know, my daughter who's 7, she's now experienced this. She'll remember this forever. This is something that has created the new set point skew in the timeline.
Yeah, what's that ripple, right? 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Yeah, it's very weird. And there's no one left alive. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. But the thing is, yes, I'm going to kind of go there. I'm not treating, again, having COVID is serious. I'm making light of it. I'm going to make light of it, but I'm not. But the whole aspect of, if you want to apply the meme aspect to it, it's, in essence, even though I'm single, the next generation is going to be, you know, having that Bane moment. You merely adopted COVID. I was born into it, molded by it. You just merely adopted it. You know, that's that whole ideal.
Which is very much so the polio kids of 1900.
Right.
You know, and then by 1930, we're done with polio. 1940s anyway. You know, it's a less of a problem. So there is that era that's going to come up with it. That's going to be exactly born in the COVID.
You know, it's funny,
and to continue that, like, honestly, as a scientist, and like part of the reason why I started Today in Space was just to have another voice out there that is, because even science as a concept, as like a societal structure, is having issues. Like this COVID thing has been a big problem for science because it's not being communicated well. Our leaders don't know what's going on. They're just saying things. They're not scientifically based, and even some of the people that have been scientifically based have not done a great job. And now, does that probably lose me viewers or reach because I talk about those things? Maybe. But that's there's so much that's going on that that is just so difficult to keep track of. And as an engineer, I can say it's even difficult on my end to keep track of it.
And even breaking down the science idea that it's not that the science is the problem, it's the idea of civil discourse is lost. We no longer have the ability to engage in conversation and disagree. It becomes hurtful and it becomes hurt feelings, and then people just take it too far, and it's unnecessary when it's a matter of just trying to have some due diligence and get to the bottom of some sort of either answer or truth or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I've had family members say to me, "Well, you know, you're just a scientist. You're thinking about it," and that, like you said, the whole conversation, like they can't even open their minds up to this thing that helps find like not a solution, but an answer to a potential question in the chaos of the darkness of the universe. Like that's what science helps you do. And then there's things in science that have issues that we need to deal with. There's people that are teaching science or are doing science that they will you know, they've had all these brilliant people help them get to a certain point where they have this theory, right? Like medicine or whatever it is. And as soon as someone The dark side of science is if someone in the scientific community is trying to raise up the idea that, hey, there's this new information that says we're not right, people in the scientific community will try and squash that because it just ruins. It's not a lot of people, but it's some of the people up top. Do you have the courage as an engineer to share that, to speak out, or are you going to lose your job? Are you willing to do that? That's a real thing.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned, not funny, but you do mention it. I think John Oliver put it on his show this past week. It's just like he's showing just old, Trump talking about the coronavirus throughout. And he, when he was talking about masks, and he, in the same breath as saying the CDC recommends that everybody wears a face covering, cloth or face covering, says, I'm not going to wear one. And then right then and there became a political issue rather than a scientific, this is going to help protect this issue. And, that's, I'm not saying that every mind has to be scientific, but we at least have to respect science and respect the people who know it and are practicing it and are out there trying to prove certain things and get us, above and beyond where we're at in certain areas. And we just have an administration that doesn't want to do that right now. And that's just so crazy.
Yeah, and so from my perspective, it's even more complicated because you're on that razor edge of the people that think it's nonsense and then the people that praise it like it's a religion or that it's magic. And it's magic on both ends. It's like, oh, what are these people? So I look at the future and what's happening with data privacy and the way Neuralink, we're going to have stuff installed in our brains. So there's all this crazy stuff that could do some insane things, right? Like cure someone who's been paralyzed forever. Like that's an amazing thing. But that's part of the reason why I chose the Borg this year, is because this is coming. And not so much in the, perspective of the Borg, some of the greatest villains of all time, but if you don't know what this is, if you don't know how to figure this out and it's magic by the time it gets to you, that's the Matrix. So this is that's part of what I try and do on the internet, is to bring up these topics, to talk about this with different people, just to get it on your radar, because even I don't understand it. And I'm just trying to get it.
I'm going to have to kind of agree with you that in regards to that, there is a lot of, or at least some of your points, there's, when you look at, granted, you're a scientist, you're college trained, there is a lot of aspect of, you see, especially with like COVID, for example, you have a lot of people out there that is kind of has a zombie mentality, that because they're told we're all going to die, we're all going to die. No, it's just probably, it's serious, but it's not that serious. Just calm down, wear the mask. If you have to stay inside, you have to quarantine yourself, do it. Listen to the CDC. It's a little bit overhyped. Yes, it's serious, but it might be that aspect of a little bit of an overhype to it. But
yeah, so I'm definitely not going to say, like, I agree, and this is why I get in trouble a lot. But like, I play devil's advocate from a scientific perspective a lot, and I definitely see that in my life I've seen more of people not taking it seriously at all. But so I try to come from it. Okay, what's the advice I can give as a scientist that is the best thing forward? Part of what you said is like, well, listen to the CDC. Well, what is the CDC? Like, it's an organization that tries to give the best information it can, but at its core, it's still faulted. Like, if I'm a purist in a scientific engineering perspective, there's a possibility they could be wrong, but they have the best information, so to speak. So there's always a little thing in my head that goes, is it though?
See, and I'm very similar to that too, is in situations like this, we're coming up, it's a virus versus bacteria. So automatically we're at a disadvantage. So then when you add the fact that we don't have research or understand what the strain is, it's a new strain. Whenever you hear things like that, we're further behind. So when you're having to research and find out, well, how bad is it? While at the same time tell couple, billion people how to live their lives with this thing that we don't really know what it's going to do or how it's going to affect anyone. So good luck, everybody.
Right.
So that's why listening to the masks and staying in the lockdowns, those things are kind of required. But yes, it can be seen as overhyped, but there is a legitimate fear when you don't know that you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, totally.
I see what you do. I see what you do there. You don't know what you don't know. Somebody's been watching.
You don't know.
Right. I personally, I don't know the general ages of everyone here, but and I don't want to seem to be an ageist or anything like that, but I'm in essence, a child of the 80s. I remember the whole AIDS fear that, that regards to, in essence, AIDS is serious and everything like that. Back in when it was, in essence, coming onto the scene, you had a lot of folks out there saying by 1995, 3 out of 4 people or 8 out of 10 people are going to have AIDS. And now it's 2020. It's like almost no big deal. It's serious, but it's almost no big deal. And it's still maybe 1 or 2% of the population. I don't know the exact numbers.
Well, AIDS is now get to the point where they've taken that entire drug cocktail down to one single pill and just started handing it out, and people are getting, where we're handling that because such a focus was placed on it. Same thing with like different cancer treatments and different things like that. When everything becomes the spotlight, when you throw a lot of money at it, in our society, that fixes it. And that's kind of what needs to be done with COVID. But because it's a political thing, it becomes this battle back and forth where no longer it's just scientific, let's figure this out. Instead, now it's, I believe it more than you believe it. And the more than you believe it, more than you believe it. And we are all different about it,
Right. Yeah. And to go back to like, what is scientific, right? Like if we're trying to figure out something like COVID is an unfortunate thing because for good science to happen, it needs to take time. So if we just look at it as it's science, listen to them, that's what it is. Why do you think they write new textbooks all the time? Why do you think theories evolve? It's because it's always building on better information. So if we don't go into it thinking, hey, like the approach that I've been not happy with is that the information is not updating, and there's no function for you to get the newest information that's out there. And I talk to people that didn't even know that smell and taste was a part of the symptoms. But that's also a function of how does this information get out there? Who do you talk to? And if you don't see science as a progressive building on top of that thing, then you start at a point in the conversation that's, not scientific at all. So that's where I'm at. So I totally get that perspective. Like, and I wish it was communicated better. But it's not.
I'm agreeing with you that in regards to that. In regards to science being a thing, I've had many conversations with one of my best friends that sometimes that, in a way, science has to be wrong in order for it to become right. Meaning, Albert, for the sake of example, the theory of evolution might not be exactly correct, but it needs to be a lot of wide holes or something like that in order for people to say, you know what, that's not exactly how it works. Let's, try to prove it wrong. Let's try to fill those holes or tighten those holes up a little bit. Or Albert Einstein was not exactly correct. He was wrong. Let's try to see where he's right, where he's wrong. Or I know some people might think psychology is a quasi science. Some people might say, Freud was wrong. Some people might say Jung was wrong. But it's the whole aspect of, okay, well, as you said, science, but you need another person to say, well, I think this person is wrong. Let me go out and try to prove them wrong. And in process, you might actually stumble or come across the right answer or what should be the correct thing or prove that person right in a way. So
yeah, I totally agree. Like SpaceX is a good example of this right now. Like one of the things that NASA does is they have a ton of money and then they build this giant thing. This is new NASA, not necessarily Saturn V and going to the moon and stuff like that. They build the biggest, highest capability spacecraft, but it takes a super long time, and they're not setting themselves up to break things so that they know what needs to be fixed. SpaceX is sending these prototypes down in Texas. They're launching these things, blowing these things up, saying, okay, that's not good, let's do something else. They're constantly failing, and they're failing faster than anybody else, which is giving them the success faster than everyone else. So
Right.
I agree with you completely. That is a cornerstone of science. You need the gauntlet of the scientific process to have people go, hey, I think your idea is wrong, and I'm going to do the same thing and prove you're wrong. Like, that's the whole process. It's
Right.
always wrong.
But then again, you have some aspects of science that where I use the example of the natural sciences like biology or, paleontology or, zoology, where scientists have said, okay, this is what we see, we're experiencing, or so forth and so on. And nature just pretty much goes, hold my beer, and that also makes, someone like myself who's not a scientist very interesting, because, it makes it fun to watch, and a lot of times, and, to kind of join in the conversation. And that's why I like, not so much, I won't say engineering, but I like the whole aspect of physics and, the theory and astronomy and that whole aspect, because the theory is just fascinating. The math, I don't understand worth a dang, but
Natural numbers, man. The big E, get out of here. Come on.
Yeah.
Imaginary numbers.
Yeah, what? That's not even fair. It's not even fair.
They're real.
One thicker line on the side.
I will
Pretty
say,
soon they're using hieroglyphs, and chicken scratch,
Binomials, get out of here.
Like, what the heck is this? You're using a spiral graph just to,
But those are fun, at least.
right.
spirographs, they were tough.
Wait, did some of those spirograph discs wind up in your wall, buddy?
They got away from me quite a bit. I will say that I threw them at my brothers quite a bit. Not on purpose.
They were mini shurikens. It was perfect.
Yeah.
They were there, they were there. So actually, a lot of great topics, especially about science tonight. Let's face facts. Like, science, for the most part, is usually always wrong. I just wanted to see if Alex's head was going to, steam was going to come out of the ears all of a sudden. Like, is he really saying this on his show?
Science is theories just waiting to be proven wrong. Some of them just take longer.
You just know that you'll never be 100% correct. You just know I'm going to be wrong most of the time.
We didn't think that a single particle could exist in two places at the same time. It's not supposed to happen. And then
or that when you observe it, it does something different.
What?
That is not something that we thought would happen.
Listen, don't speak your magic tongues to me. Okay, we know how this works. No, masks don't work. Get it. We're not proponents of that stuff here. I'm going to record two versions of this, two endings, and that's the first ending. Now the real end is everybody wear a mask. We know we want to be safe, and so whoever wins, I know.
Focused advertising. I like it.
Bingo.
No, it's not even that. It's I don't want to be taken away into some prison somewhere, some DS9 Cardassian, Babylon 5 space station prison somewhere and hidden away where nobody knows where I am.
The Cylons, I think, are more realistic. We're going to be the, we probably already created our own demise. Voyager's coming back as V'ger, and we're done. There's no Enterprise. It's just V'ger.
It's a true story, man. That's a very true story. Well, let me. Okay, now we just gotta put a question.
Don't make me start trolling again. I'll start saying Voyager's just a Farscape ripoff. That's it.
Scariest soldier-like beings in science fiction.
Terminator.
No. All right. Let's take Terminator. I can do that. Terminator.
Yeah, we can't take the. You
Terminator
cannot
wins.
take the number one.
Every okay. Space science fiction.
2. Terminator 2.
Space science fiction.
Oh.
Space science fiction.
Yeah, let's stick with space science fiction. All right. What do you got for me? We got the Jem'Hadar. We got the Borg. We got Babylon 5, whatever that is. We got the Cylons. We got so much. What
Space
you got
Rangers, bros. Space Rangers.
The Space Rangers. Ugh, I can't believe you went there.
That's obscure.
But I'm just I want to finish it off on a fun time. What do you got for me?
Monstar from Starhawks.
Monstar from Starhawks.
Oh.
Really?
That's
Starhawks.
obscure. That is obscure.
That's so obscure that literally nobody's watching. They all left. They were like, "We don't know." No, it's not true. They haven't been watching for a while. But
They weren't here anyway. Dang.
I mean, it's election night. I really didn't expect the show to do that great live. Let's face that. But it is.
I mean, that's fair.
We have a lot of listeners that come on after, so I would give it.
We catch him on the back end. It's like RDJ and his contracts.
Yes, I wish. Oh God, can you imagine? I want that Kanye to pay money. So, what, Alex? What about you? What do you got?
I mean, I've just been obsessed with the Borg, man. I mean, the Borg across different quadrants of the galaxy. I mean, you can't really beat them. They're there. They're always there. They're always trying to edge themselves towards something else. That collective consciousness is dangerous, man.
I think you can beat them, and I think it's been proven
By going back in time?
by many reasons. You need a Picard in your life with the data. That's it. That's all you need.
But did they beat the Borg, though? That's the thing.
No, that was Captain Janeway.
It's true.
I mean, can you ever beat the Borg? I mean, didn't Hugh kind of create a whole new civilization that was way better and peaceful? Do you want to beat the Borg anymore?
I don't know, right? Now that we got 7 of 9 as the new Borg Queen. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert. I'm sorry.
Well, I haven't watched.
I saw that. I'm good. I saw that. I'm caught up there. I mean, Mandalorian just came out on Friday. I had a lot of Halloween crap I had to do. Leave me alone.
I was still playing catch up on Halloween 2. I still had to finish, watching Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers. Had to finish H2O. A lot going on.
Are you kidding me? I had a 24-hour marathon I had to do. Oh, I had to host this stuff. Oh, and it was a hell of a ride, man. I'll tell you that much. But it was fun. Anyway.
Hey, where can we catch that, by the way?
It's over now. You missed out.
Did it get recorded?
No, basically how it works is we all watch the movie at the same time, and on Twitter we're hosting each movie as we go. So it's a live tweet with video, stuff like that. So I mean, if you want to go back through my Twitter, there's plenty of videos crap like that.
Don't have much else going on.
I mean,
Get on the tweeters.
But we did 12 movies in 24 hours. It was a hell of a thing.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was there from beginning to end. Ooh, my movie, because there was 12 of us that were sponsoring each movie, and we hosted our own movies. And I did Fright Night at 10 p.m. on Halloween, so that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
So you got to go with Fright Night. It's just a solid choice all around.
Great movie.
100%.
Colin Farrell won, right?
Go, shut up. Don't even go there. Prince Humperdinck all the way. We know that.
The other Sarandon.
She got her name from him. Don't you dare take it away from him. You son of a bitch. There's already a precedence on this show that I can say bitch. And thank you, Chris, for that. So now I'm calling you son of a bitch. And on that note, I'm going to go take a jump into Mel's hole. Hopefully hide from the rest of this election situation. But we did have a pretty fun show, and I would love to have you guys back, of course. Just so you guys know, and everybody else who's watching or listening, Thanksgiving from 11 p.m. to 8 a.m., I will be doing a live show. Yes. Anybody can come on at any time. It is a lonely Thanksgiving. So basically, the reason I'm doing it, and I'm bringing this up now, a lot of people during the holidays, and I got this after last year when I did sort of a quasi live show on Thanksgiving for like an hour. People who are feeling lonely on the holidays or don't really have something to do, especially this year, I want to give them something to do. If they're up late at night or they're bored, they want to join in on the conversation, they want to just have somebody to spend some time with, I will be live all night long. And I will be there for you people. And I'm not going to be there for Christmas. So make sure. so spend it with me on Thanksgiving. Maybe I'll do it for Christmas, but not on Christmas for sure. But
I could probably help you with that, man. I'm always hip for a lonely Christmas.
Christmas or Thanksgiving? You're confusing me. You're confusing me, Casey.
I'll cover your Christmas shift, bro. Yeah. I got nothing going on, nobody around. It's fine. I'll just have a Yule log crackling, slowly drinking eggnog. It's perfect.
Oh my God, we're good.
Great.
My military helmet.
I could hop on too, depending on if I have to work the next day or not. So,
well,
if not for a few minutes, I'll be scheduled probably this holiday season at some point. Diabetes be damned. I'll probably be doing Drunken Halo on Twitch.
Nice.
So I have a friend of mine to thank for that. Back in the day, he's like, "Oh, let's hang out and do Drunken Halo." Me being a little bit the naive young man that I was at that time. How do you do that? Well, you have loads of beer and you play Halo. So it's loads of alcohol and playing Halo and doing live stream on Twitch. I might do that. So, and
well, listen, I'm going to be on all night, so I'm going to have plenty of people not around. So anybody who wants to join, please feel free. And you know what, like Casey, I really like those ideas. Maybe I'll get a nice little fireplace in the background here and just like.
Oh, actually, yeah. If you want to see one over here, we got this one now at work.
Dude,
Can I? Yep.
all set.
Well, I'm very glad that I quit, so that way I don't enjoy that.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's wonderful. The things that you're missing, bro. I mean, this thing we can change the lights. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What's up?
So many fun things. You become manager, and all of a sudden it's just like take over, and everything is just like
party all the time, my friend. It's my mantra.
Well, make sure you take off for Thanksgiving, then you can join me. We'll call it the You're on Mute show.
Yes, I love it. Let's do it.
So that's going to be Thanksgiving. Anybody wants to jump on, anybody feeling lonely, please feel free to join in the conversation. You can come on the show or you can join in on the comments, things like that. So that's where I'm at right now. This week is pretty packed. I have some fun interviews coming up this month, I should say, and full slate. Everybody took the night off 2/10 of times. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so we don't want to sit there and pretend like we're all happy if we're not. Or we don't want to, and let's just face facts. Whoever wins, we all lose. It's the board.
Resistance is futile.
It is. You are correct, sir. So I really want to say I appreciate you guys all coming on. Chris, please plug your stuff, man. I want to hear it.
You can find the Long Coat Mafia podcast pretty much everywhere podcasts are found, for the exception of Google Podcasts, because screw those guys. But for the most part, Apple Podcasts / iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, the usual suspects. Our main website, for those who would rather bookmark that, it is thelongcoatmafia.podbean.com. We do have a YouTube channel where we put up supplementary videos for our show. You have to, when you go to YouTube, you have to search in for the Long Coat Mafia podcast, or you get some of the uglier side of YouTube, or you can just again visit our main webpage, which has all the links to our social media and everything else, which is again the Long Coat Mafia.podbean.com. Our Facebook is facebook.com / the Long Coat Mafia podcast. Plus, we do have Twitter and Instagram, which is also Long Coat Mafia. So I'll be happy if you stalk us there and be part of the family, and hopefully I'll have a couple of you on. If you're on regularly, you'll be one of the made men or made people of the show. So
Well, I appreciate that, and everything's going to be, all those links are going to be in the descriptions on YouTube and all of the podcast platforms and more. And Alex, the same goes for you. I want you to please plug your stuff, man. I want everybody to know all your shows.
Thank you. Yeah, if you're interested in my crazy mind and what pops out of it, and talking about science and space and catch up on everything that's going on today, that's Today in Space podcast. That's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify. I think it's everywhere. Today in Space Pod on Instagram. We're even on TikTok at Today in Space, and Today in Space Pod on Twitter too. So if you want to reach out, check us out there. We're doing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of crazy stuff that's happened in space lately. So we'll have a few episodes coming out soon talking about the latest discoveries like OSIRIS-REx and every crazy stuff that Elon Musk is doing with SpaceX. November 14th is the next NASA astronauts that launch. So I'll be doing a live stream of that. It's on a Saturday. So if you've got time, definitely check us out. We're also on YouTube too. Today in Space, and that's it. Yeah, come check it out. Spread
Awesome.
love, spread science.
Like I
and
said,
Casey,
everybody-
I followed you back on Instagram, so
Awesome. It has been a pleasure being able to stalk you, gentlemen. I mean, hang out with you guys.
we will definitely get Casey on and more. Hopefully, he'll be my co-pilot on the Magic Carpet ride. That is Thanksgiving, the lonely Thanksgiving. And anybody else who wants to join in, like I said. Right now, the Scene Snobs channel is go to thescenesnobs.com or follow us at the Scene Snob on all social media and message us. If you have a show that you want to have broadcast, have a live spot on the Scene Snobs channel, please let me know. If you have a show idea that you want to come to fruition, I can help you with that. I'm producing shows now and accepting new stuff. Or if you just want to be a host, please feel free to come on and we'll talk about it and we'll get you in the right fit. So we have a lot of shows coming up and more to come. So thanks everybody for watching tonight. This is Scene Snobs Podcast Live.
thanks for having me on. So
absolutely, Alex,
Good
Chris,
with you guys.
it has been amazing. I always
Thanks,
appreciate
everyone.
it. And I just want to say thank you again, everybody. Thanks for watching. And like the man says, resistance is futile. So make sure you pay attention to all the time. Until
No
next
brown
time.
coats, independence all day.
Very nice. All right. With that, I'm going to say, be good, everybody. Have a good time, and I'll talk to you soon. Love you guys. Bye.